Welcome to BitBoy Crypto. The best way is... If you became a millionaire, would you keep working? You know, I want to tell you guys something. What's going on right now is California's trying to figure out about crypto. My name is Ben. We're talking balls.
Home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all of the interwebs. Guys, on this channel, it's our goal to help you guys find financial freedom through crypto assets. And it's been a pretty wild few days, guys. Bitcoin.
And when we say financial freedom, we don't mean losing all your funds and getting freed of your funds like what's been happening in FTX, which I do want to say real quick, I mean, we're going to talk obviously a lot about what's going on with FTX and, CZ or not going on with them right now. But if any of you were affected by this, if any of you had funds on FTX, I know a lot of people lost a lot of money on this. So, sorry to you if you did lose funds here, but it has been a wild couple days.
Yeah, it's been absolutely crazy. I mean, in the news and on the charts, which is we talked about this recently on the show when Bitcoin was going sideways, and we were talking about how when Bitcoin's napping, sometimes it gets boring, but you don't always want to wake it up because sometimes she wakes up and she's angry. Yeah. And boy, is she angry. So yeah, crazy few days, guys, here on the charts. And we just made some new lower lows. So very, very interesting stuff. But we have an awesome show for you. Obviously, a lot to talk about. And then DZ's going to be coming in. I'm just filling in for him in the beginning here. We're going to do some TA. And I want to show you guys just kind of the general analysis. And then we're going to actually take a look at some lower price targets. Because, yes, we're at that point, right? You can make your predictions, expect where the bottom is. But once you get to that level, it's time to look lower and find those most likely next targets for the price. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Shout out to NFT Alpha. Don't forget to go follow them on YouTube for all your NFT info and NFT Alpha. Trust me, DZ always give me the NFT Alpha. So I could definitely vouch for it. Don't forget to follow DZ.eth and Frankie_candles. Don't forget about me. But yeah, DZ.eth. Go ahead and follow him on Twitter. He's popping on Twitter. He's got like 37, almost 38K. Let's go, DZ. Don't forget, guys, we have Catching Up to Crypto, Ben's new book, which is still doing amazing, right? It's done like absolutely crushing it. Yeah. So yeah, definitely check that out. Also, hit merch. Don't forget to check this out. We got a lot of good merch. Back to the metaverse. I like that one a lot. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into our market watch here. Let me do a quick little refresh. Did that refresh? Wow, it was a quick refresh. 21,705 cryptos, 522 exchanges. We won't touch too much on the number of exchanges.
Dropping by the day.
Yeah, for real. The market cap at 847 billion, 24-hour volume, 227 billion. And BTC dominance coming in at 38.9%, ETH dominance at 16.9%, and then your ETH gas is at 83 Gwei. Shout out to Hey Noodle, says show Frank's calves. We'll set up the calf cam on my channel. I promise, guys. We will get that set back up. That is a real thing we did, guys. Yeah. But coming down here to the prices, Bitcoin coming in at $17,059, down 15% on the day. Ethereum coming in at $1170, down 24% on the day. Yikes. Yeah. Let's go ahead and check our top losers. FTT, obviously on its way, looking like it's on its way to zero. We'll have to see what happens there, but down 78% on the day. Solana, obviously tied to all this, coming down about 46% on the day. Aptos down 35%. I mean, it's just red across the board. Lido down 35%. Chili's down 33%. Curve DAO. I mean, everything is just Chainlink down 30%. But guys, listen, like I know it's bleak out there. I know that, yesterday it's kind of like, this all this stuff happens. It doesn't get exciting, but it gets very rowdy. It's like, oh my God, panic. We're dumping. And then like today, we're seeing continued downside. And this is kind of where it starts to set in. It's like this is getting pretty bad. Just remember, guys, look at this as opportunity, right? We talk about this all the time. During the bull markets, you see these coins that you missed, right? And you see these prices absolutely ripping. And you're like, man, I wish I was able to get this lower. And then you talk to people who may have been in crypto longer than you, and they're like, oh, I bought this coin at 2 cents, and now it's at $10. And you're like, man, I wish I had, I wish I had these opportunities. And these are the opportunities, right? So in a second, we're going to jump into the charts, and we're going to look at those potential lower targets that I'm looking at, which I guess actually, yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into the charts right now. Now, obviously, we did set a new low today. Let me go ahead and turn this on.
Wait. So you're saying we hit a new low after the midterm elections, or on the day of the midterm elections? Almost like we've been saying that on this channel for a really long time. And I did, kind of to your point that you were just talking about, I did want to recognize, especially if you're new here, if you got in 2020, 2021, this might be your, obviously you've been experiencing some dips, but this is your first true, like feeling that fear of bear market capitulation. And these are the opportunities to accumulate. I would say if you are new, like maybe let the dust settle a little bit more. It's, breaking news. It looks like CZ may not be going through with the purchase, so there could be more fallout and all that sort of stuff. So be careful out there. But look at this as an opportunity, and this is how you become a millionaire in 2024 and 2025. It's going through these being here and experiencing painful days like today. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of emotions that you feel, especially if you've got funds out there, and if you're seeing your net worth fall very quickly. So it can be scary. But to your point, it's an opportunity time. Watch the markets, accumulate strong projects. Ethereum coming right back down close to $1,000, might be back under $1,000 again. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, we're gonna look at those lower levels right now, and they might be scary, but it could be the gold that you've been looking for this whole time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And shout out to Bud Lightyear. He says, funny how Ben and TJ were right once again. Yeah, it's almost like they know what they're saying.
Right.
But yeah, guys, lower lows yesterday. That was the big question for this entire bear market. Once we got that, capitulation in June, is like, are we going to get those lower lows? Are we going to get those lower lows? Got them yesterday. And now we're just getting them every day, it seems. So yeah, our new low here, we did come down below 17,000 to about 16.8. About 16.8, and this is on the Coinbase chart. And right now, guys, as far as the as far as the current situation, I'm going to do my general, just typical analysis here. But, sometimes it is worth it to let the dust settle a little bit here. Now, could you FOMO into a short right now? We're going to take a look. There are some more bearish signs popping up that, could indicate another move down. Could you FOMO into a short and have it work out? Sure. But, we have come down a lot. So, we could have a crazy capitulation happen today as well. But, in general, I am waiting for, I wasn't an ETH short. Yesterday got stopped out in profit, took profit down, along the way down, and then got stopped out for the rest of the position in profit. But I am letting the dust settle just a little bit. I was in the Discord earlier today, kind of looking at some scalp longs. Some things that were popping up on the lower time frames, but I was saying, like, listen, we're stuck below some serious levels here, and let's just go ahead and dig in here. I'll just kind of show you guys what I was looking at this morning, and you guys can just see it here. I mean, these yellow X's, let me hide this VPVR. These yellow X's are absolutely all over the place, especially on something like the 1 hour, starting to see this play out. You see this first one brings you down. This second one didn't really do much, but sometimes these will foreshadow moves, right? You had this yellow X here before a massive pump up, which is likely to happen. A little fake out pump before an absolute, before you absolutely get wrecked to the downside. So we're just having these things pop up all over the place. And obviously, this is confirmed on the 1 hour now. But earlier today, we were actually putting in a bullish divergence on the 1 hour, but it completely got eaten up by a red dot here with the, accompanied by that yellow X. So what I was kind of saying in the Discord was another really important thing here is you'll see that we are stuck. Let me actually just get rid of this local profile here. You'll see that we're stuck below this blue line. Now, this blue line is the 786 fib level when coming all the way, pulling it all the way from the March 2020 lows all the way to the all-time high. So this is a macro 786 level. It's also the area that we bounced off of during the June capitulation. So this was a very, very key level of support. And, we're on the 15-minute here. Obviously, we did come down and get a little bounce right there. Let me zoom out a little bit. We did get a little bounce here, but we are now below this. We bearishly retested and confirmed a blood diamond here, and we are now losing this level, which is definitely more on the bearish side. This is the main level that I was kind of looking at if we were going to make these lower lows, kind of telling my community, if we come down to these levels and we do not get a hard V bottom at this 786 for a double bottom, could have indicated the bottom of the bear market there if we saw something more like this happen, where we just kind of came down and then got a nice little recovery here, putting in that double bottom for this bear market, would have been a nice way to kind of put this bottom in for good. But obviously that did not happen. And, we were talking about if we break this level, this is the main level, if broken, where I am going to be looking for lower targets. And speaking of those lower targets, let me get to that before Bitcoin does.
What was the level you were looking at? You said that to be broken?
That is the 786 fib coming in at about 17.8. 17.8, give or take a couple bucks. It's kind of hard to get the exact level here. But yeah, about 17.8. It's basically where we bottomed out. It's different on different exchanges. Obviously, on some exchanges, we did come down to, it comes up at about 17.5. But before Bitcoin actually gets down to this level, guys, the next major level to the somebody said RIP Soul. Yeah. Yikes. But yeah, before Bitcoin gets down here, the next major level I will be looking at here, guys, is going to be this white box. The top of this white box is basically coming in at about $16,200, $16,220. This is going to be likely our next stop for Bitcoin. We should be able to find a little bit of support here. We also have some confluence here with this spider line kind of crossing through this white box. This obviously trends up over time, but the 16.2 is probably the next likely stop. If we break that, could come down and revisit this spider line. This spider line should give us some decent support. That is coming in at about 15.5. This is a level spider line that we've kind of been looking at the few times that we've kind of been looking at when I do on my channel actually go down and look at the lower targets. This spider line has been one we've been looking at. So 15,500 should give us some sort of a bounce. We also do have another spider line coming in down here at about 14.2 or almost 14.3. But now we're getting to that 12 to 14K range that we as well as a bunch of other people have been talking about for a very, very, very long time. So right now, it does seem like we could be on our way to that 12 to 14K range. But again, 16.2, the top of this white box, should give us some support. But real quick, guys, I kind of want to zoom out and just kind of look at some apocalyptic numbers. Yeah. Shout out to the Moons in here. Let's go.
Oh, let's go.
What's going on, brother? I love seeing those check marks in here. But with that being said, I just kind of want to zoom out and look at these, lower targets. We call them apocalyptic levels on my channel. And there's some interesting levels, guys. I know a lot of people are calling for much, much lower lows. I want to pull up that VPVR because I know that there are some people out there with the lower targets are looking to potentially come down to 10K and even break 10K and, mess around in that $9,000 range. And they're not crazy, guys. There is a good reason why people are looking for below 10K. And if you just zoom out here a little bit and look at where the volume is on the chart here, this is a macro volume profile here. You see the point of control here in red. This is the area where the most volume was transacted, right? So this is a very, very strong level. And another thing about these points of control, if you don't know, is they act as a magnet. Price likes to go back to the point of control. And obviously the point of control moves depending on what area of price action you're looking at. But when zooming out to more of a macro profile, you could see we do have a point of control coming in here. Depending on which, for the most part, it's around between $9,000 and $9,500. Now that on top of that, if I come here, you guys know I'm a big fan of the volume profiles. It basically gives you X-ray vision into the markets. But basically how these volume profiles work is when you come up to this blue line, this is the highs of the range. When you come up here and you reject and you cannot break out of this level, it's very likely that your next stop is going to be to retrace back down to that magnet, the point of control, this red line right here. And you can see, we look at this on lower time frames all the time. It's very, 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 very reliable. But when you zoom out here, we are technically, if you're going by the volume profile, it doesn't mean you're 100% going to get there. But technically, with the way volume profiles work, it would be expected that until you come back up here and break out of this level, it would be likely to come down and visit that point of control. So again, nothing's 100%, but I feel like people, anytime someone brings up like 10K as a target, people are like, oh, that guy's crazy. On a technical level, it would make a lot of sense if we got down there. And also, just another thing to point out here is you can also see that the reason that the last levels that we were ranging at, between about 20 and 18K, sitting at, obviously this last place that we were just kind of ranging, was an extremely important level of support. And the reason for that was not only was it resting right on top of near that all-time high from 2017, which is a very key level, but also if you look at the volume profile, look at this giant gap right here. I'm going to take the TA away in a second, but you could see just this giant hole, right? So we were sitting right on top of this high volume node. These high volume areas act as support and resistance. So as we were sitting over on this high volume node, if we lose it, there's nothing underneath us to about, we do have these little areas you are likely to find, a little support in the areas we were just talking about 15.5, 16.2. These will be little stops, but the next major area of volume does not come into until about, 12 to 14K. More likely 12K is really where the volume starts to pick up. So the next real serious level of support is going to be about 12K. Now, not saying that you can't find support on any of those other levels we were talking about, but the fact that there's a big volume gap in here is if we continue down, things could get moving pretty quickly. So I just wanted to show you guys that on a visual level because the volume profile does a good job at showing you where the strong levels are and where those ranges are, where there's not a lot of volume transacted and there's not a lot of support. So big gap, not a lot of support. So if we continue down, we could see price start coming down very quickly, and it may not find serious support until about 12K. And you also have that point of control at about $9,500.
I like that you keep saying if we continue down. Like there's still some hope that we're not going to go further down here.
You got to be optimistic, right?
I mean, I guess.
But yeah, I mean, with that being said, the fact that there's no volume there, guys, it is likely that we could fall right through this. And again, you can see that big spike in volume starts at about 12K. If we continue down, that point of control would be that real level that you really want to get some support on, because if you break that POC and you're going by, you're going by how volume profiles work, it would be likely once you break that POC to the downside, it would be somewhat likely to come back down to your value area low, which is this blue line, which is at like $3,200. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I know there are some people out there looking at those targets.
Yeah. Hey, that was the low from the last cycle. That's the one I know Crypto Savvy's been looking at a lot, to kind of that Amazon chart that they overlay. I mean, BC backers looked at it as well, that, if we do potentially go into a 10-year bear market, those are some of the numbers they're looking at. And if we do go that low, obviously it would take a long time to recover. I still lean towards more drawdown, stay on the 4-year cycles, use this opportunity to accumulate. I mean, we're literally right on track for when we went under in 2018. Then 2019, slow and boring, one more wick down, and then we, that pandemic wick, and then we went up. So we could experience something similar here with this, but it still seems like more pain ahead for sure is the sentiment. Don Alt just retweeted, or I just retweeted him. He tweeted it just a few minutes ago. He said, yeah, honestly, ever since yesterday, now it's finally starting to feel like a bear market. And
100%. Because, during the Celsius, the whole Celsius debacle, during that capitulation, it was chaotic, but I didn't hear anybody saying that crypto was over or I'm done with this. I lost all my, that's usually the signs of a bear market. And I just didn't really feel that. And another real quick thing before I let you guys go, if we pull up my chart one more time here, another reason, another reason why this point of control would make sense at about $9,500 is if you go all the way down there, it does get you a lot closer to that 85% correction. Which would make a little more sense. Now, obviously, you're dealing with logarithmic regression. I wouldn't expect this bear market to come down. I would expect it to come down a little less than the previous one. But again, we have, uncertain factors in the macro. So if we did come to that POC, it would make a lot of sense. You get that 85% plus drawdown, and then, you are on that POC. And then if you get support on that, you could work your way back up to that value area high near our last all-time high, break through that, and then maybe that's when the new bull run starts, 2024, 2025.
Yeah. Big Boy Wilson in the chat said, what levels does Hit Network, or which would be me or us, what levels do we have BTC limit orders at? 17, 14, and 10, 5 roughly. I mean, not exact numbers, but roughly those areas. So yeah,
for sure. But yeah, guys, I just kind of wanted to bring that up, show you guys where the volume is, let you know that there's not much underneath us until we really start getting down to 12K. And then, That's about all I got. I think DZ came back in
Yeah.
here.
Let's get him up.
But yeah, also guys, check me out on Sin City Crypto at 1:45 Eastern time. I will be headed on there and just talking TA with them. It's gonna be a good time. So come check me out and follow me on YouTube. Frankie Candles. Subscribe. Back to DZ. Bing bong.
Hey, if you think you're down bad, Dr. Oz spent $27 million of his own money to lose in Pennsylvania. So it's not that bad, folks. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, at least you're not Tom Brady right now, right? I mean, I saw those headlines started floating around yesterday that Giselle and Tom had put most of, and I don't know, didn't see the exact details, but the headline said most of their $600 million plus.
I told him to make a short about that.
Yeah, into equity at FTX, maximizing their equity options, which not looking good right now. I mean,
yeah. I mean, Solana still not good.
No.
FTT way worse. Maybe regular shares of the company in some Bahama, escrowed, still not good. So it's just not looking good. Hey, could have given him some Bitcoin. It's still not looking good for Tom.
Yeah,
Tom, it's okay though.
And just
I think you'll land on his feet.
Yeah, he seems to be a winner, and like I always say, winners win. But real quick on the
chin like that, you can't lose.
Yeah, hairline, he's got it all. Tall,
Freak, man.
Just to update everybody, if you guys aren't in it all the time, the absolute most breaking news. Obviously, we covered a lot yesterday. Binance potentially acquiring FTX. Now the breaking right before the show comes out that says looks like most likely not going to be going through with the deal based on the financials. It's still a lot of stuff up in the air. Now we've got CFTC apparently looking into stuff. Of course, Gary Gensler's involved, was having all sorts of meetings. We're seeing on his calendar now with not just SBF, but FTX and FTX officials. So he's out there protecting us from Ripple with a case from Ripple while meeting with FTX on the side, who actually was insolvent and is hurting customers and customer funds. So there's going to be a lot of fallout to come from this over the next few days, guys. But that is kind of the state of.
So was Martin Shkreli right? He was the one that on the up only. If you didn't have a chance to watch that, it's pretty entertaining. You can maybe fast forward till Do Kwon gets on, but Martin, very impressed by the guy. And before you come at me with the pitchforks, I know it's terrible to charge a whole bunch of money for cancer medication for children.
For all of his decisions.
I'm not advocating scalping children's cancer medication. That's obviously a bozo douchebag move. You don't want to do that. However, the guy is very articulate, very well spoken, very insightful. And in a room full of very intelligent people, he was kind of standing out as the all-star there. And so I can see why those investors was listening to this guy. He brought up a good point. He said his investors all made like 3 to 5x, and none of them felt defrauded. They, in fact, come up to him and say, "Defraud me again, please. Like you gave me 5x."
Sam's investors?
Martin's.
Oh, Martin's. Yeah, of course.
Now I don't think I'm buying Shkreli coin or anything. No. He's a smart guy. All right, so yeah, it's been a very volatile day. I was doing a Spaces Cardano NFT space. They kind of brought up a good point, and I was thinking Cardano kind of walking away from this as a slight winner because there's not a bunch of this VC money, these hugely secretive, semi-insolvent hedge funds here. They don't have large ADA allocations. Well, they have a lot of Solana, and so when events like this happen, you have to dump your portfolio. So the fact that these big liquidation events can't really happen to Cardano because these big banks don't hold it. And I say banks as just a kind of a placeholder term. It's in the people's hands. And the people aren't the ones that are going to panic liquidate because those people are already gone. Right now it's the believers. And I brought up the point of at those Cardano summits, and Ben was kind of testing this. It felt so bullish. And then I asked them about the Litecoin summit. It's not feeling so bullish over there is what, Crypto Blood said and Rice said. Solana, they're not feeling so bullish over there. You had the number one Solana NFT project tweet about possibly going over to ETH and like to tweet about going over to Cardano. The whole industry ran with that, and they had to walk back those comments and say, look, guys, we're not leaving Solana. I didn't realize the power of our words. I'm talking about Frank to God. So right now, there are some opportunities. I do think there could be some more legs down, but I'm thinking about starting my DCA strategy again, maybe this Friday. I don't know, 2 days from now, dust kind of settles.
I mean, it's a confirmed bear market, and that's what right before you came out, we were talking about the timeline. Like if you were to buy, I don't think it's a coincidence. We're literally, that was another thing. We're exactly 1 year from the previous all-time high today. So it's like to start, okay, generally we fall for about a year. So if you're using very broad generalizations, like this should be near the bottom. If you DCA from the year from the previous top, all that following year, you're going to probably be in a generally pretty good pretty good shape. So I'm right there
I do want to bring up one point to what Frank was saying. While there isn't any buying volume until you get really low on Bitcoin, I wouldn't worry about that too much because it's not the buying volume that I'm thinking about. It's the selling volume. I think the people who would sell at 16, I think they're washed out. I don't think Bitcoin falls $1,000 and then there's a huge influx of sellers. I think the people holding Bitcoin at this point are largely, long-term diamond hand people. So I don't think it's, sure, there's not that much buying pressure, but I don't think there's that much selling pressure at 15K, 16K. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe some whale comes out, panic capitulates, but I feel like the whales play smarter games than that. I don't think they capitulate at this point. I think maybe they took profits when we went up to 25, that previous run, or when we went up to 22. Remember, there was all that Bitcoin that was hitting the exchanges right before all this happened. So I feel like the whales have gotten out. So I'm not too worried about selling pressure at 16 and 15. Again, I could be wrong, not financial advice, but that is my 2 cents.
Dang. So I'm looking at right now, supposedly leaked, unconfirmed, could be the balance. Kobe just tweeted out balance sheet from Alameda FTX. Looking at their holdings, it's very interesting what they hold where on Anchor, BCS, AVAX, ARB.
All right, I'm going to pull up Kobe. I did see a tweet breaking down KuCoin's reserve of stablecoins. Someone said that they actually have an influx of 56 million stablecoins. There was a huge withdrawal of Ethereum stablecoin. It was moved to Tron. And so I think they moved USDT. I think they moved it from ETH to Tron. So they've actually had a net gain of stable coins. And that's when you really need to worry is all the stable coins or Bitcoin gets drained out of an exchange. That's when they can go insolvent. Again, this is crypto, who knows, but I still semi-trust.
No, I do. I wanted to speak to that while you're pulling that up, because that is something obviously that's going to be important here, is who has exposure to Alameda, what is their solvency of their exchanges going to look like. So other rumors obviously flying around very quickly. Again, unconfirmed. We're not trying to spread FUD or anything. Just, be careful. Make sure, not your keys, not your coins, all those sorts of things. But the next couple that have been talked about a lot, obviously Coinbase was rumored a few weeks ago. They came out and kind of dispelled those rumors pretty quickly, but, so did SBF, so yeah. Who can you trust is the real question. KuCoin, crypto.com is another one people are like looking at. Again, ones with their own tokens, I would keep an eye on for sure, because it's almost like a government that can print their own currency. Like it's such a tempting lever to play with that's going to take a lot to resist it. So.
And I've brought it up when we talk about wars. You'll never see a government tax their way into paying for a war. Right. They'll always just print money.
Right.
This is the tweet. Now, Kobe's, he's not known to skip out on due diligence. He is saying, look, don't know if real. In fact, he said this could be totally fake, to be honest. But I don't think he would tweet it if he thought there was without some sense of like this, there's a high probability that this is accurate. So this is the Alameda FTX balance sheet, and it appears that there isn't any Solana. I believe that's what he was kind of breaking down here. Let's see. Looks like a partial view. Unlikely this is complete. Unlikely this is complete. Could be totally fake. Some numbers line up with my expectations, but no Solana position here, for example. So you're saying maybe he does expect there should be Solana, not seeing it. So take this with a grain of salt. But
I would keep an eye on this. Like, obviously, they're going to be covering a lot of different positions. Like, that's what a lot of the action on FTT and Solana right now, they're trying to stopgap and fill holes. So they're going to have to be dumping large amounts that they're holding. So just for your own information, spin through this, look at the coins that they were holding, and kind of assess for yourself. There's a lot on different chains and different ecosystems. So yeah, take some time to spin through that today, because the fallout is definitely not complete from this. I will say that.
Savvy's in the house now. He's still saying 3,500. I can't. I'm not there with you there. I mean, I don't. Obviously, no one. I don't want Bitcoin to go to 3,500. I can't get there, man. I can't get there. I just kudos on the Amazon Bitcoin overlay. I mean, how long is it supposed to overlap? I don't know.
10 years. It's supposed to be down for 10. Like the chart is basically a 10-year bear market coming after this. It's something blockchain backers been looking at some as well. Kind of like the .com bubble bursting and it taking in the 90s and it taking until the kind of 2000s to really come back. And it's plausible. It's days like today you emotionally can feel it more, but I have a pretty strong feeling. Like 10 is my bottom number. I still think 14 holds pretty strong. 10, it feels about right to me. But again, like, you never know. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, it changes quick.
Yeah, people
Changes
asking,
quick.
should I take money off a Crow? Here's my rules. I'll hold it in a wallet, but there are some currencies where I don't have a wallet for it, and I don't feel like doing the hassle, and the amount's too small. I don't really care. So like I have a small amount of XRP on KuCoin. I don't feel like I actually did do a Zoom video, so I might download an XRP wallet today. Maybe I'll move it off, but I'm not like super. My ETH. Yeah, I wouldn't leave ETH on there. I wouldn't leave. Bitcoin. So it's just a risk tolerance thing. If it doesn't hurt, not your keys, not your crypto, not your keys, not your coin. So it doesn't hurt to just take custody. And it levels up your knowledge, and it makes you less susceptible to hacks in the future. Because you'll know what to expect and what to see. And someone says, "Oh, I can help you with this wallet issue." No, I've been there, I've done there. I know how to work a wallet. And then you don't get snowed over by some scammer overseas. Or maybe next door. Who knows? It could be homegrown. I did see someone. It was Jason Calacanis tweeted out, "Who's down worse today, crypto people or Republicans?" It's bad. It's bad out there. All right. Are we? We have some stories, or are they all out of date from what's happened?
Yeah,
I know.
I don't know. Jump in there and see what you got. If you got some stories, we got plenty here to talk about.
Yeah. Pull up some of them hot tweets, man. Today is a good day for it. Bitcoin dumps a 2-year low. Solana nosedives. I see a lot of people asking, can Solana go lower? I do have a bag of Solana. I didn't trade out my Solana from selling my Utes. So, yeah, I should have sold, but I don't see it going to 0, but it could go to 3, 5, 10. It's not a 10-year bear. This is from Savvy. It's not a 10-year bear. Bear ends mid to end of 23. 10 years till new all-time high.
Okay. So not bear. Yeah.
Oh, geez. You don't got to get all vitriolic at the end there,
well,
Savvy.
okay,
Maybe you watch it and
we're
listen.
going down, and it's going to take 10 years to grind back up to get a previous, to break all-time highs again.
I think, you could say that's a 10-year bear. we can argue of semantics, but many people would see that and call it a 10-year bear.
It feels like bear market, even if it's,
Yeah. I
you're
understand
still
technically it doesn't
up,
have to do a new all-time high,
obviously.
but in Bitcoin's 4-year cycle, people are going to think of that as a 10-year bear. All right, Solana FTT dumped the most. Obviously, this was a huge implosion. Went over. It was like $22 to $3 in one day. A sea of red, which is weird, is because what was I saying about KuCoin? They moved a bunch of money over to Tron. Is that where everyone's like moving stuff? Is Justin Sun buying? Is that what's happening here?
I don't know.
Is this the bottom? Dang it, Justin, let me know. All right, interesting. Tron is the only altcoin with minor gains on the daily scale. However, it's not helped overall, which is down almost $1 billion. So that is huge right there. Because it's one thing when we go down $1 billion, when we're at a $3 billion valuation, but like where are we at, like 1.2 or something? Like that's a lot. That's way down there. All right, Marathon, now the second largest listed holder of Bitcoin. I've talked about this company a lot. It trades under MARA. It is a New York-based Bitcoin mining stock, and the reason I like it is they bought a Canadian power company, so they don't have the normal issues of cost per Bitcoin. The CEO revealed that they now hold 11.3 thousand Bitcoin, worth over around 205 million, making them the second largest among publicly traded companies. So not the second largest whale in the world, but they are the second largest of publicly traded companies worldwide. So not even American base. And they also confirmed that to date they have not sold any Bitcoin and will continue to take that position unless deemed necessary to cover operating expenses. So what is up with all these people diamond handing? Like Michael Saylor, Marathon? I guess they don't want to get into the trading game. That is a scary proposition. These people are such strong believers. I wonder if they do think, $250,000 next bull run. So it's interesting that we have such a disalignment. There's such a huge delta between the bears and the bulls. The bulls, they're coming in. They're a stronger believer than ever. But then you got the bears saying 3K Bitcoin. I don't know. Is the bottom in? Is 3K the bottom? It's going to be tough to tell. Obviously we hit a new bottom. So your views have changed a little bit, TJ. Where do you see? Have you changed your? I want to ask what your target is, but have you changed your target?
The only change would have been before I really saw 14 as the true bottom, and now I can see it's easier for me to see a scenario where 10.5 something in that range plays out.
I used to think 95 was like impossible. I don't think that anymore.
But to me, it's all gonna stem on what happens with this FTX Binance deal. There's still you know, it's up in the air whether it goes through or not. There's people, you know, there's people that have proposed plans about saving, you know, the smaller users, like people up to a couple $100,000, $200,000-$300,000, make them all whole, which covers the most people. You know, the whales that got wrecked, maybe let them recover through some kind of litigation and things like that in the future. Like if they're able to put a saving deal together, I think it keeps us from going much lower.
Yes.
I think if not, there's going to be a lot more pain. It'll push us down on a fear and sentiment level very, very low. And it'll give the regulators all the ammunition they need to put in harsh regulation on top of it early 2023. And if those two things happen, if the regulation gets too tight, then it, you know, that's a scenario that I could see playing out into a 10-year new all-time high. I don't think it's going to happen. I hope, you know, we've got, you know, obviously Sam Bankman-Fried's not going to be impacting regulation at this point in any way. So I think there's going to be, we're on layer 2, I feel like, of this onion. And there's a lot more layers that are going to get peeled back, whether it's connections on the political side, like I said, meeting with Gary Gensler, trading with customer funds, you know, is prison on the table. I just saw a random tweet that said, like, look, don't think CZ's the hero in this. I think him and Sam are actually on the same team, and this is going exactly according to plan, which spin off a whole new conspiracy theory that they're working together to crash the whole market and take control and blah, 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 blah. So I think it's going to, depending on how many more fireworks and how many more shoes fall out of this, you know, that's what's going to determine the bottom. I still do think we can go back up to new all-time highs on the 24-25 cycle. And I think
so,
you
too.
know, like I tweeted earlier, like somebody had put in all the different stuff that have happened this year. You survived a Bitcoin crash from 69,000 to 17K, Luna dumped to 0, 3 Hours Capital going from, just for perspective, 18 billion to 0, which we were looking at, I think is roughly 9 billion in FTT and Solana to 0 potentially. So Celsius and Voyager bankrupt, FTX and FTT meltdown. You are no longer considered lucky when you get rich in crypto a few years from now. So just keep that one.
Yeah, a lot of people commenting, you know, what do the YouTubers know? No one knows anything. YouTubers, the smartest quant in the world doesn't know. But, you know, we try to take in a lot of information, and obviously new information comes in, and then we'll change our dates or we'll change our targets. And that's called being smart. Not, you know, it's not a bad thing changing. And for reference, I called the Bitcoin top within 2 weeks, almost a year ahead of time. So just for reference. But then in November, I thought, no, we're going even higher. I should have listened to my past self.
Well, that's what I was going to say. What do we know? We know what we've lived through before. We know the experiences that we've had in crypto. You know, if you've had more experiences, you know, all the power to you. That's why we want to have you in here in this chat and talk about it. So we're just here sharing the life experience we have that have got us to this point, and you know, we hopefully it gets you guys further too. If not, you know, no problem.
Not quant the coin, quantitative. Now, come on, people. Come on. You couldn't. I gotta show my quant. All right, I don't have any quant. Isn't that one that AJ loves?
Quant's a good one. Yeah,
I got
another one of those ISO 222. I'm pretty sure.
He's a little emotional today. I've been dead inside since the May crash.
Right.
So I don't know what you're talking about.
We have no emotions left.
Yeah. I watched my Mutant Ape lose $100,000. I've been dead. Okay. This is just, it's cobwebs and, you know, a bat hanging upside down inside here. That's all.
Real quick, I did want to speak to, you know, speaking of learning, we did, Kelly asked me to shout out the BitLab Academy. We shot I saw the video this morning in a meeting. It looks really great. The new intro video. So go ahead and check that out. bitlabacademy.com. Tons of new stuff being shot down there today. So make sure to check that out. That, you know, strategies, trading, DCA, on-chain analysis, all the type of stuff you need to learn to profit in this market. You'll be able to find it there. So,
all right. And yeah, people want a little couple updates with the chart. I might throw it up on the screen every now and then. We can just kind of check in on old Bitcoin here. Fighting above that $17,000 range. You can see it just going down. This is the 1 minute. If I stretch it out a little bit, you can see a decent amount of volatility for the 1 minute here. So right down, it wicked down 16,835, and this is off of a Coinbase Bitcoin USD chart. So a lot of you know, it just shows you how powerful this volume thing is. You know, all that volume right there. Then, you know, maybe a little bit picking up right there. But, you know, to my point, it's the who's selling. You know, who's selling around here. I feel like if you're gonna sell here, you sold yesterday, you're selling now. I don't know how many people. Again, I could be wrong. I wouldn't be super worried about the selling pressure. I don't know if it could be that high. FTX acquisition. I mean, this is we're just gonna skip that. SBF scrambles to cover tracks. I mean, yeah, he did delete some tweets.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the tweet's going to be held there. I think it's just so he can't get dunked on with quote tweets. But I want to bring up Do Kwon popping up on Up Only.
Yeah.
You know, everything he said is going to find its way into a court case. So, what are your thoughts on these people that are on the run showing up on these podcasts?
I was pretty intrigued, and I was gonna say shocked, but he's been pretty casual about the whole thing the whole time. He's put a lot of tweets out. He's acting pretty much like, yeah, I'm just doing my thing, and I'm not really too worried about it, and whatever happens happens, and I'm just gonna take life as it comes. So
and I'm not here to defend Do Kwon. In his words, this is what he kind of said. He's like, I started out, he wasn't Do Kwon when he started out. He wasn't worth billions. He was just some, just a guy who liked to code and build products. So he said, I started out as a shit poster. Excuse my language there. He's like, I started out as that. But then, he's talking to Kobe and he's like, I think you guys can kind of relate. You get to a point, you get so big where that isn't really a viable strategy. You need to maybe dial back the trolling and, maybe give a little more real information and, just more insight and less like joke, haha, aren't I funny with this meme? But, he just kind of was like, the people loved the S posting and he just kind of kept doing it and it was what he was used to. And, he says looking back, he would change it. But
I mean, it was part of his brand, part of his personality. So like you said, you just roll with it. It's how you got there. So it's what you know. But yeah, you are going to be held responsible. That stuff does become legal liability, can be used against you in the future. So one thing that was and I think that's where Sam's at now is, beyond saving your company, saving your exchange, I think he's trying to save himself and not end up in prison at this point.
Yeah.
Part of one thing we're going to look at on the Basement Show afterwards, guys. So by the way, stick around for our Twitch exclusive blockchain Basement Show right after this around 1:15. We're going to be going live. One thing I was intrigued by is who's getting hurt by this. You mentioned Skrelly's investors. They weren't mad at him because they did well on it. Well, people that invested in FTX just this past year, January 2021, $900 million funding round. People like BlackRock, people like Vanguard, people like Pantera. These are people, they don't like losing money, and they don't like it when you lose their money. So it's going to be really interesting. A lot of that political capital that he had accrued so quickly, it can turn on you pretty quick in DC. So it's going to be fascinating to see how all this plays out. If the people that were helping him, now that they've lost a lot of money through helping him, if they turn on him, I mean, it's going to get wild quickly. So
yeah, and he had a risky strategy where he seemed to really focus on one party over the other. And if you look at big banks, they donate equally. He had the strategy. I'm putting all my chips in one basket there, and that can definitely turn on you every 2 years. So you got to be careful. Well, we're bringing up Skrelly. He reassured Do Kwon about life in prison.
Prison ain't that bad.
As they discuss FTX and Binance. I really recommend. I mean, maybe don't even fast forward to Do Kwon. Fast forward to Skrelly's party. Pops in about an hour 45. Huge changes in the market on the 8th led to equally massive waves of commentary. Up Only TV channel on Twitch. Obviously, there's Kobe and Co. And Do Kwon and Skrelly showed up pretty much simultaneously to talk about the CZ and Sam Bankman-Fried deal for the purchase of FTX. It was like his second sentence too. And but when he asked about Kwon, I'm not much of an investor. I thought this was funny. They did ask him some good questions.
Yeah.
They asked Do Kwon, hey, would you invest in an SBF startup? Kwon, I'm not much of an investor. I think it's too early to tell. I thought that was pretty funny considering what he was doing with Bitcoin.
Yeah, no, his first thing was like, yeah, sure. Well, I don't know. I'm not really a big investor type, we have to wait and see how all this shakes out. Because I think then he realized, wait a minute, maybe not if he goes to prison, but.
And this is kind of what I said in the beginning, shout out to the pharma bro. One of the first things he said is, I think the hole is a lot bigger than people think, talking about their liabilities versus their assets than people think. And I think there's a good chance Binance walks away. And I think that'd be terrible. He kind of called, opening up the possibility, not only saying opening up the possibility, saying, he seems it more likely than not that they are going to walk away there.
Well, there was a lot of people, people that are more familiar with the legal side of things screaming, this is going to be an antitrust violation, that they're not going to allow this to go through because of that. Almost immediately after CZ tweeted it, that, basically you can't save a competitor within your own industry for your own interests, publicly, and again, it gets real wild real quick when they start digging in and seeing, Alameda was using they were using customer funds from FTX to cover Alameda trades, allegedly. And that's what we're seeing come out now, that they were borrowing from customer funds to make investors whole, and yeah, it got ugly quick. So.
Shkreli also fudded Binance a little bit, and I honestly can't recall if I brought this up on camera or not. It's the CCP Binance connection. What is it? I don't know what it is. I know you can't really operate any company at scale in that country without being under their complete control. If you doubt what I'm saying, Google Jack Ma Alibaba.
Yeah, of course.
Just Google that. That is definitely how, things operate over there. This is what Shkreli said, taking a poke at Binance by repeating an unfounded rumor. So Cointelegraph carrying water for Binance here. The biggest problem is, and maybe this is just totally, makes no sense. The biggest problem is that we don't know what Binance's balance sheet is. Why are we trusting these guys? It's a CCP appendage, Chinese Communist Party there. So I think that is a fair question, especially when they control 80% of the volume of crypto trading. That's a lot to take in, and that's a lot to basically to think about. That could have terrible second and third order effects if there were to be. I want to be very careful with my words. I don't want to spread baseless FUD or talk about something that might not happen for 40 years. But just be careful out there. Not your keys, not your crypto. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, well, and I think it's important. I think this will lead to a lot more transparency with exchanges. I know that's what CZ's been pushing for, proof of reserves and funds. I was looking for it. I know I saw a tweet this morning. I believe it was OKCoin. KuCoin might have been on the list. I can't remember. There was a handful of other top exchanges that are all committing to do a proof of reserves thing, which I think would be great for the industry, great for consumer confidence. And these are the type of things on a regulation standpoint that would be positive for the industry if we had a standard that says, hey, when we have custodial products, they can't operate like banks operate. They can't do fractional reserve banking. They need to have a one-to-one reserve, or they need to have, and it needs to be public. Like, that's great, and that would be great for the industry. So I'm hoping, as painful as all this stuff is and as negative for a lot of people, and again, we said it at the top of the show, I'll say it again, our heart goes out to anybody who lost major funds. I've seen huge accounts on here saying, I'm done with crypto. I just can't take it anymore. Like, money is not more important than your life and anything that's going on in this world. That was another great tweet I saw. It's like, man, imagine all these people just going around living their life like nothing's happening. They're having a great day today. They think, hey, weather outside's awesome. It's beautiful. So
I would say most people even know crypto also feel that way.
Yeah.
CZ is Canadian. Yes, I know he's Canadian, but he also operated in Hong Kong for an extended period of time. And I think that's more important than where
it's actually the Canadian tie that piques my interest with the CCP, because we know they're very invested in Canada and Canadian tech business and industry. And I think in a lot of ways, Canada is the front run test. Canada's the test network for the United States, in my opinion. So,
I mean, that's a very good point when you start thinking about how we treated our telecommunication towers and versus how Canada did. And they're a little more lax on certain things that we drew a hard line in the sand for. Again, we're kind of getting off topic here.
Yeah, we
but yeah, there is a lot to be said there. Just be careful out there, folks. All right, we also back to Solana. Nearly 1 billion of Solana set to be unlocked in 24 hours. I saw this tweet. And this is at these prices. Imagine what it was worth a week ago. They're set to unlock 49.6 million Solana at the time of writing, $945 million when the current epoch ends in less than 24 hours. This is 13% of the coin supply. Who owns this? It's going to be fireworks if this gets sold. Of course, maybe nothing happens. Maybe the player is big VC money and they don't want Solana to go to zero, so maybe they're not going to do anything with it. Just like these entities holding FTT, they probably want to sell but know that they can't. Maybe there's going to be something similar here, but that's a lot of Solana. 13% of the market cap there, or the circulating supply. That will tank the price. That will tank the price if it is sold. But we don't know if it's going to be sold.
Yeah, it could be obviously an obvious guess. Could be Alameda getting, that had stuff locked up that they now need liquid because they're covering and backstopping different holes, trying to prop up different things. So it could have a positive impact. Obviously, if it's just it could be an OTC deal. That's another thing to think about. They could be getting some of this liquid for an OTC deal. Keep that in mind. But if it's sold on the market, it's going to be pain, guys. It's not going to be good. So I actually got lucky. I sold a lot of my Solana, or all of my Solana. I didn't mean to sell all of my Solana. I thought I had some more Solana somewhere else, and I realized I didn't. So So like just 3 weeks ago, I sold all my Solana. So
Yeah, I actually sold most of my Solana, but then I had a huge influx from Utes, and
yeah,
I
that's
just
right.
sat on it. And so, yeah, I had been moving most of my Solana a while back. Madoff research. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that one. A lot of people hot opinions on the CZ Canada thing. It's suspiciously hot takes here.
Yeah.
Weird. All right, Vitalik. Oh God, he's just like chilling, like, oh my God, thank God, like no one's like talking about Ethereum or me right now.
I don't know if this is what it is, but when I saw the story about the Bloomberg report saying he dropped from SBF dropped his net worth overnight from 16 billion down to 990 million, like, and Vitalik came out and said, "Well, he's still richer than me. Still got more than I do." That was hilarious.
Do we believe that?
Not so much. Not so much.
Yeah, I mean, he got a lot of sheep. I know he gave out.
He's giving it all away.
Was it all of it? I thought
he burned whatever. I mean, there wasn't enough liquidity, so he cashed in what he could, donated it to charity, and burned the rest. So it's like that's what other people said. Like you could be if you wanted to be. And I think he sold all of his Ethereum at one point because he didn't want a conflict of interest.
Yeah, I don't know, like what's Foundation's Ethereum, what's his Ethereum. I mean, the man's got to have a secret wallet.
Yeah.
Remember he was talking about what he had to do to sell that sheep. He had to travel to 2 continents, get the 2 pieces of paper, add those 2 numbers on these 2 pieces of paper. Then that gave him the number that he was able to derive his passphrase from. And there's just like a lot of you're doing all that, and you're going to tell me you don't have a secret bag of Ethereum. Probably has a little secret bag of Ethereum. All right, we're scrolling through some comments here. A lot of people talking about he has a lot of Doge. Maybe. A lot of people, 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. I do want to bring up, I was in a space earlier, and, we're talking about, where the space is heading, and Cardano versus Solana versus, these new coins coming up, and there's going to be a contagion event. There's going to be alts. Look, not everyone's, I don't want to sell all my crypto right now. I don't want to put all my crypto into fiat. I understand there could be a huge leg down, but if I move that fiat off, 1, that's a taxable event. 2, it might go up and then I have to buy in higher. 3, I don't want to sell for a long time, so I don't really see much gain in selling right now. But there's going to be winners and losers that bleed or gain Satoshis. Benjamin Cowan, he talks about this, and he's really, really on point when he talks about bleeding Satoshis. You don't want to bleed Satoshis. What does that mean? It means you don't look at the coin compared to the price to a US dollar. You look at the coin compared to the price of Bitcoin. And with this shakeout, there's going to be winners and losers. And, I know I'm beating a dead horse talking about Cardano, but I think possibly XRP is going to have some, relation to this. I don't think that many people are going to dump certain coins. And there's going to be coins that people, they don't marry it, so to speak. People marry their XRP bag. People marry their Cardano bag. And people marry certain bags. And so really think about a community. I think community is just one of the dials. And when you look at a coin, should I buy it or not? Circulating supply, tokenomics, is the team doxed? Are they powerful? What have they done in the past? There's all these dials that you need to look at when whether or not do I buy a coin? Do I sell a coin? Do I stay on the sidelines? And right now, I think homegrown grassroots community, that dial just 4x'd its value. And so right now, to me, I'm looking at things with strong community that aren't VC coins. The VC, I used to think that's really a positive. I see a VC coin, I see money. I might not like its ideals, but I see a trade that I can execute and maybe put a little more money in my pocket that helped me retire early. Now, I think that VC thing, that is now maybe a contagion. That's poison. You don't want the VC money right now. Now, that's going to change, and when it changes, it's going to change fast. The VC money is going to flow in. There's going to be huge, huge gains because they're going to deploy their capital somewhere, and where they deploy their capital, they're going to pump it. And so just be educated. Don't hate it. Don't trade it. Don't marry. Just think logically. Don't think with your heart right now. Right now is the time where your heart is going to play with you and it's going to cost you money. So just be very, very careful out there. All right. Should we talk about Vitalik here, though? New Ethereum roadmap tests aim at MEV and censorship. Amidst a number of new changes, the new vision as a section aimed at curtailing the threats of centralization. Okay, that sounds good in theory. Let's boil it down a little. It was founded on a vague, albeit tightly held set of principles around financial freedom and credible neutrality. Wait, is this ETH or ETH Classic? Oh, no, this is ETH. Yeah, ETH was founded on that. Recently, those principles have been tested. They do have a new roadmap divided into 6 tracks that are all progressing in parallel and each containing a hodgepodge. You don't see that in articles that often. Of proposed upgrades for the blockchain's core code. Censorship and MEV are amongst those, slotted between speed focus second track, the Surge, and the efficiency focus fourth track, the Verge. We also saw significant revisions with the new track, the Scourge. And the Scourge, of course, is the sequel to... No, I'm just kidding. The goal of the Scourge, according to the new roadmap, is to ensure reliable and credibly neutral transaction inclusion and avoid centralization and other protocol risks from MEV. Yeah, that sounds like Buterin. Yeah, that sounds exactly like a sentence that would come out of his mouth. Ensure reliable and credibly neutral transaction inclusion and avoid centralization. Also at risk of jeopardizing their neutrality is MEV. Extra profit that validators operating the network can earn by reordering the transactions that they add to the network. The opportunity to extract exists as a quirk of how blockchains like Ethereum operate, whereby the validators that run the network can effectively preview pending transactions. This is almost like you don't want centralized nodes. Solana, Cardano isn't. Included in the Scourge, one method for addressing censorship and MEV concerns is protocol-level proposer-builder separation. PBS, also home of some great children's programming there. To prevent block builders from censoring, they include a proposal for inclusion list. So this is going to get in like the weeds of tech there, but yeah, it looks like this is something that they are worried about, with the 32 nodes and people kind of rolling up. And is the 2 entities own almost all the nodes? Was it Coinbase and who's the other one?
Lido owns... You're talking about
Lido.
the Ethereum
Yeah,
nodes?
yeah.
Coinbase and Lido Finance are some of the main node operators on ETH2, or were.
So it looks like they're maybe trying to find mathematical solutions. If anyone can, the Ethereum Foundation can. There's a lot of smart people working on that coin, and so I'm bullish for their future.
I would say this to address that. I mean, centralization, we talk about it all the time on this channel, is a continuum. It's a sliding scale. So it's the way they did the ETH2 rollout was going to lend itself to be centralized node operators at first, because if you think about who had the most Ethereum, people like Coinbase exchanges with huge reserves. I know Binance was another one that had a lot of those nodes. And then Lido was a DeFi product that basically allowed people to lock up their Ethereum while maintaining a synthetic Ethereum asset for liquidity. So it was a protocol that was designed to do that. And so naturally, those 3 are going to be the biggest. Now that the system actually operates, you can lock it up and get it back. It's all moving to ETH2 slowly. It will become more decentralized over time, just naturally.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, Ethereum gas fees skyrocketed 10x amid on-chain panic. It costs a whopping $3 to send something. Here's what you need to know. Went 318 Gwei. Yeah, because I think Monday I checked, it was 31 31 to 318. So many now sending ETH is the cheapest, but it looks like transactions neared about $10 at one point. So some of the OGs were just laughing at that, like, oh no, a whopping $10. How can I ever recover from this trade? I think back of all the ETH, and ETH wasn't like that crazy. It wasn't like it was $4,500 ETH when I was spending $70, $120 on ETH transactions. I want to say it was like in the 2s, maybe even there's periods where it was like 1,800 where you were spending that much. So serious percentage of that ETH I was just losing. That's why diversify your portfolio. There's a lot of cryptos with a lot of different solutions, and you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Ripple partners with Proper Home to revolutionize real estate market. Will it drive the price to $10? No time soon. Set out to create, I think we kind of talked about this when it first happened. Yeah, it was Rent Real Estate in Portugal. It's basically their NFT utility. So on NFT Alpha, we're actually doing XRP video. I'm going to basically tell you like where to download the wallet. Here's where you go and trade for NFTs or XRP altcoins. So if you want to get in the XRP ecosystem, make sure you're sub to NFT Alpha. Shot it before. I've been super busy. I shot it. I'm gonna edit it this afternoon. Get it out there. I even talk about a project minting in 2 days. I'm not gonna name. You have to watch the video to catch the NFT Alpha there, though. And so make sure you watch that. So yeah, XRP. This is what I said in the space. XRP today is almost reminding me of Cardano like 10 months ago. It's finally getting to where people pretend it's at. Because Cardano, people, I'm shouting out to BJ here. A year and a half ago, Cardano essentially kind of was just a wallet. I think maybe Space Buds had came out at that point. It was doing a little bit, But the way BJ would talk about it, or the random Cardano Max, a year and a half, they had acted like it just already had solved everything, and they're already using it for their driver's licenses in Kenya, or so the way they would talk about it. But now Cardano's kind of caught up to what they were promising 18 months ago. Now it is a robust ecosystem. Now there is DeFi. Now there are NFTs, and so XRP is reminding me of that. They're building, and I'm pretty excited about its future.
Breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Most of FTX legal and compliance team have reportedly quit.
That is not good.
It's not good.
That is not good. Now, the silver lining, just to play devil's advocate, I don't think that's good. I'm not saying
it's not
the silver lining I'm about to give is like best case scenario. Maybe that means the Binance deal is going through and they got sacked. Maybe. No. I mean, that'd be like the best case spin I can possibly think of. Or they're like, holy crap, we're going to jail.
No, it's time to get out of town because if that deal was going to be going through, they would need all of their legal and, to be going over all these documents, dotting all these I's, making sure they're in compliance. I mean, are
they going to show up at El Salvador Beach or Bitcoin Beach?
I don't know. I mean, we know Brett Harrison stepped down not too long ago, who was their head of compliance. I don't know if he maybe saw some of this stuff coming down the pike and knew. I mean, put it this way, from information we've been hearing, from rumors we've been hearing, this is not a secret. If you work there, people knew things were going on that were not in alignment, that were not legal.
Yeah.
And so I think everybody's in CYA mode right now.
Well, not legal in America, but maybe legal in the Bahamas. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I know they're based.
Maybe.
He got to start in. He was in Hong Kong, and then he went to he's in Bahamas.
Bahamas is where they're headquartered. The issue is Alameda was using customer funds. It's very hard to defend that no matter what jurisdiction you're in, along with other what's the word I'm looking for? Conflicts of interest that caused a lot of issues that, again, there's a lot more that's going to be coming public here pretty soon from based on what I'm hearing. So
Dr. Crypto, good point. Well, people were complaining crypto was boring.
Yeah.
Well, here we are.
Right.
So
somebody said that in the chat too, like, hey, thanks for crypto not being boring. And as somebody who has to get up and talk about crypto news every single day, it has made the last 2 days, it's given us plenty to talk about. It's given us a lot to learn from. And like I was saying earlier, hopefully some positive change for the industry comes out of this. Hopefully, whether it's personal positive change or grand scale industry change, we're growing up as an industry. Maybe we're in our teenage years. We made some mistakes here and there. We got a little reckless. Maybe we drove a little too fast, whatever it is. And it's time for us to pay the piper.
SBF going on the Pluto Alliance cruise. He might need a relaxation vacation there, possibly. Who knows? That would be interesting.
That would be wild. They should do a cruise of crypto's past where you get like Do Kwon and Mashinsky and SBF and Craig Wright, get everybody all on a cruise together, just kicking around like, man, it's been a crazy.
We get the hologram of Hal Finney. He'll perform like Snoop or Tupac or something. Wow. Yeah, that'd be cool. All right. There is, things in the TradFi world going on. Believe it or not, Meta / the rumor came out yesterday that they're going to fire a lot of people. It looks like the number was 11,000 as it sunk more money into the metaverse. I think that's too small of an amount. If I remember correctly, they had 87,000. So 11% is roughly 12% of that. Roughly about 12%. So I feel like they should have slashed more closely to like 20 or 30%, but 11% is a start. So they're going to cut 11,000 jobs, or I'm bad at math. 13, I think it's 12 point something, but 13% of its workforce, and one of the year's biggest layoffs as the Facebook parent battles soaring costs from its push in the metaverse and weak advertising market. Also, Zuck, he basically said, I overestimated growth. That was kind of his statement there. I thought, it was just going to keep going up and to the right, but, growth did slow down. Elon Musk sells at least $4 billion worth of Tesla shares after the Twitter deal. Sold an additional shares of his electric company after closing the purchase. He did that on the 28th. And then before he sold, he owned about a quarter of the stock between all the options. Thought on Exodus. While haven't used it, I'm not really much of a hardware wallet guy.
That's a software wallet, Exodus.
Oh, it is?
Exodus is a front-end application. I use Exodus Wallet a lot. And you can... What's cool about Exodus is it's really just a front-end application, so you can connect it and still use it as the interface for your Trezor or Ledger. or you can just use it as a software wallet.
Does Ledger support HBAR?
That's a
I
good
don't
question.
know. That is a good question. Ledgers get to the point where it's like Coinbase 2 years ago, you could memorize every coin, but
Right.
then it gets to the point you're like, man, I don't know. There's like so many coins.
I mean, it's real easy though. You just go to Google and type Ledger supported coins, and I don't know if you can pull this up, but it looks like they're not going to have them all on one page.
yeah, of course not. They need you clicking.
Yeah, let's
Need
see.
you
I'll
clicking on
search
all
it
the
for
other
you.
stuff.
HBAR, yeah, Hedera Hashgraph, buy
there you
and
go.
send receive available on Ledger according
All right,
to their
answers
website.
your question. I think we got a code. You save 10%. You go to the website.
Yeah.
You want to save a little money.
I think today and yesterday there's 10% off a Ledger. So
it ends today.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. You got a little. You better hurry if you do want to save. If you are, hey, that's actually not a bad Christmas gift.
Mm-hmm.
Just a thought there. And then it'd be super cool if you load it up with like $10, $100, but then don't forget the seed phrase. Remember it and then steal their funds later. That would be so funny. Obviously, you were joking. You only do that if you don't like if they didn't pass you the gravy at Thanksgiving or something. Then you do it for sure. No, obviously you don't steal people's funds. But I think I'm gonna do something similar. I was gonna give a NFT to someone, and the way I was gonna do it was like a picture, and then on the back write the seed phrase. And so if they want to, then maybe put a little dust on there if they want to interact with the chain. So hey, yeah, it's a pretty cool little Christmas gift there. All right, so Elon, I think we might have one more TradFi. No, it's BlockFi. Oh, geez, bringing back yield product. Haven't we learned our
Oh, no.
lesson? Okay,
Not today.
Oh, it's not for us dummies though. It's only for the accredited investors
the
in the
rich people
U.S.
get
So these people are smarter and better than us, better looking. They smell better. They're
Basically,
taller.
what they're doing is they're bringing back yield for the investors in BlockFi that are upset that they're losing money. Basically, they're not getting money for their investors right now, so they're going to give them some yield on the customer funds.
On that podcast, they brought up a good point. It's like these exchanges print money. Like, weren't they just happy just like printing money? Like, why did they have to try to like 2x their money? Like,
Right.
you
Leverage.
just sit back and live a very comfortable life and have a very profitable business that isn't having all this downside risk that we're seeing today. So
Yeah.
it's not great. But you know what? Smash that likes. If smash the like button if you like a little drama in crypto. If you live for this stuff. If you like waking up and saying, you know what, this stuff's going to be a movie. I can't wait to see it. This is happening now. It is happening now. Some people are saying it's one of the worst events ever. I don't think it's past Mount Gox. It's but it's up there with the Terra Luna, and probably exceeds that. This is a top 3 event in crypto, I would say for sure. I kind of put the pizza up there. That was kind of a huge moment. It wasn't
big
a bad moment,
Yeah.
but it was an important moment.
Yeah, there was a lot of those ones early days that were obviously very pivotal because they were historic. But yeah, this, as far as something that's happened recently, and somebody asked if it'd be similar to Mt. Gox. I mean, imagine if 85 to 90% of all Bitcoin trading was happening on FTX, then yeah, it would be similar. Like that's the part that people can't.
And not only that, stolen.
Yeah, well,
Someone hacked and
Mt.
stole.
Gox literally was Bitcoin in so many people's minds. They didn't even really understand that you could do it other places.
Jack Black should play SBF. He's a little too old. Oh my God, a young Jack Black would have been great.
That would have been good.
Josh Gad, if he loses a little weight, I think he'd do pretty good. He's a little old too, but
And then we're hearing, this is unconfirmed, but hearing things now, Department of Justice and people looking into, basically the United States looking into FTX and SBF. I mean, it's getting interesting.
to quote Barack Obama's former campaign manager, Rahm Emanuel, never let a good crisis go wasted. And with that, I think we're going to end the show. Until next time, BitSquad, DZ out. For TJ, Ben, and the crew, just hit that like button. Don't panic.
Yeah.
Blood in the streets. Let that dust settle. You don't want to be exit liquidity. Just be careful out there, and we'll see you tomorrow.
There
See
you
you
go.
at 5 p.m.
Yeah.